Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to yet another rant. Today I want to talk about well, it's the usual Q&A, so welcome. Be sure to ask your questions. And today I want to make a little bit of a rant on Radical Dreamers, the text adventure we got with the Chrono Cross remaster. I want to talk about that because I think it's I think the game has some fatal flaws that can ruin the experience for a lot of people. It kind of ruined it for me. This morning I reached the end, but I couldn't beat the game. I couldn't beat the game because, I got the bad ending. I mean, that's not even a bad ending, it's just a game over screen. For those of you who have played it already, back when it was fan translated or in this Chrono Cross remaster edition, whenever you die in this game, in Radical Dreamers, the text adventure, you get this black screen where Serge says, and this is how I died. So that's the screen I got at the very end of the game too. And I was like, what? There's three choices you can make at the very end, and no matter what I chose, I died. So I got sort of like a bad ending, or more like I got stuck in the game. And I looked it up online and I couldn't believe the BS. The BS that I read. It's just unbelievable that this came out in 1996. It kind of makes sense for a text adventure game from 1996. But today it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a game where you very unfortunately need a guide, because it's a guessing game. It's not a game where one decision leads to this, or this decision leads to that, or to this ending or to that ending. No. This is a game where you choose whatever decision, whatever choice is available to you, and without even knowing, there's no way to know you're going to get it right or wrong. It affects the whole game and it ruins the experience. And you get stuck at the end. There's nothing to do. You're screwed. And I want to tell you why today. I want to tell you why because I'm kind of pissed off. And I'm not going to spoil anything about the game, but I'm going to spoil the technicalities of the game. Like, you need to know. You definitely need to know. So I'm doing you a favor. And I really am. You need to know this if you're going to play Radical Dreamers before or after Chrono Cross. If you've already played it, then I guess you encountered the same issues as I did. So this is a game, like I said in my previous review from a couple of days ago, that, where you make choices. It's like a little bit on the have you ever read those adventure books? You want to go to the lake, go to page 30. You want to continue forward, go to the next page. This is like that. Okay? Except it's a bit of a puzzle game. You need to go to this room first to get the key to this room, to get the magical item for this room, to get the magical plate for this room, and like that. And the game has random encounters. Okay, it has random encounters, man. Okay, sometimes when you move from point A to point B, in the corridors, in the hallways, you get a random encounter, and sometimes you don't. And you can die in these random encounters, and you gotta start from your last save. Very fortunately, you can save the game whenever you want, except during battle and except during the last sequence, the last events that lead to the final boss. And that's a long sequence. That's like 10 minutes. You can't save during those 10 minutes because it's like the final puzzle and the final boss. Alright, so what happens in this game is that sometimes the game doesn't tell you this. This is the game's biggest problem. The game does not tell you this. Pay attention. You play as Serge in this game, and Serge is also the narrator of the game. He narrates the whole game. He talks. I know he's a silent protagonist in Chrono Cross. He's not in here. And he looks totally different. Surge in this game is blonde. And he looks like a little 12-year-old kid for some reason. And he looks up to Kid, the girl, you know. And what happens here is that the game doesn't tell you this. You have an invisible HP bar. And you don't have any items or anything to heal or recover. That means when you get these random encounters that I mentioned, sometimes you choose, I jumped towards the left and stabbed the goblin or the enemy with my knife. Or I dodged the attack. Or I defended myself. Those are your three choices sometimes during battle. And how are you supposed to know which one is the correct one? There's no fucking way to know, man. So you're like, okay, so what am I gonna do? Dodge the attack? And then the game tells you, oh, so I dodged the attack, Surge, narrating, I dodged the attack, but the enemy still hit me, but I survived. And as the game progresses, you know, after every battle, Surge starts saying if you took damage, Surge starts saying to you, the player, I don't know how much longer I'll be able to take hits, you know. I'm not sure how much for how long I'll be able to go on. That's when you start realizing what's going on here. So this I'm getting damaged. So there we go. The music was total low. And okay, you're like, okay, I don't know, maybe I'll get something wrong or something different, or I don't know, something's gonna happen. But you don't expect to get stuck at the final boss because of this, because you lost too much HP with the random encounters. Like how... that's bullshit, man. That's fucking horseshit. Why? And you wanna know what's worse? The ending doesn't only... what ending you get or getting stuck also depends on certain choices you do. Also during battle. You not only have an invisible HP bar, you have an invisible bar, like a appreciation bar from Kid. That means if you decide something during the dialogues, or if you ask something, because Kid, you know Kid in Chrono Cross, she is very short-tempered, right? She has this attitude. She can be a fucking bitch. And in this game, in this text adventure novel, visual novel, she's an even bigger bitch. Like, she's kind of unlikable at times. I loved Kid in Chrono Cross, but in this game I was like, you know what? Damn, if I were Surge, I will walk out of Viper Manor and leave forever, to be honest. She's a bitch in this game. So if you say something that she doesn't like, and the game doesn't tell you this, you lose points with her. Which means even if you get at the final battle with your HP intact, if you made choices throughout the game that Kid didn't approve of or that Kid didn't like, you still get stuck. And you die. You die, the final boss kills you, and that's it. No bad ending, not even a bad ending. It's just the text saying, Surge saying, and this is how I died. And it takes you back to the menu screen. What, and you know, let's talk about the final sequence a bit. Let's talk about the final sequence. I don't want to spoil anything, but you get to this puzzle. If you're looking at the thumbnail of this video, that's the image in the puzzle. So you need to read the sequence in the kitchen. Get this, pay attention if you want to get this right. You want to get this right, you need to go to the kitchen. You need to find the kitchen where there's a mouse trapped in there. But the thing is that you need to read some instructions in there. If you don't read them and you get to this final puzzle of the game, what the hell's wrong with the music here? Why is it like this? Sorry about that, guys. Let's just restart the music. It's acting up. It's working, right? There we go. So you get there and you need to solve this puzzle by making 3 choices. The first 3 out of 9 choices. I mean, there's 3 choices at the beginning. Move to the right 3 times, move to the left 3 times, move to the right 2 times, move to the left 2 times, or force your way through. And out of those 5 choices, only one of them is right. Remember when I mentioned that you can save the game at any time? Well, you can't save when as soon as you enter a certain door, you get a wall of text, walls of text, dialogue, narration, descriptions, and then you move forward, and then more dialogue, more choices, more whatever, until you get to this part. So during all this sequence, you can't save anymore. So it's and the game, in Chrono Cross, you can press the forward button, right? You can press the forward button to skip dialogue or to skip whatever to run faster in the remake, in the remaster. Not in Radical Dreamers, you can't press forward, the text. So you gotta keep pressing the X button to skip the parts that you already watched because you die with a battle or because you messed up at the a point of no return. So in this final sequence, if you choose these 5 choices that I mentioned, you choose, move 2 times to the left, no, you die. And you gotta read all those fucking 5 or 10 minutes of text again. Because you can't save right before the puzzle. You can't. So there you go. Again, until you make it. So you choose, take 2 steps to the right. No, you're dead. Again. So, and then after this, once you get it right, you get to the next part with another puzzle, because you ain't done with that puzzle yet, and the same choices appear. So in other words, you gotta choose, move to the right, then move to the left, then move to the right again, something like that. You gotta get it right, otherwise the game is gonna keep throwing you back at the last save before you enter the door. And you're gonna be reading. That's what happened to me this fucking morning, man. Like literally 2 hours ago, I was suffering through that. I was like, why can't I skip all the text and skip straight to the puzzle so I can choose something different? And how the fuck are you supposed to know if you didn't read the instructions in the kitchen? You wanna know how I found out about the instructions in the kitchen? Well, I did get to the kitchen last night while I was playing the game. But I realized that if you go to the kitchen, you release this monster. And this monster is a pain in the ass because it's also all monsters here, including the monster you release from that. You gotta fight this monster, and it's this. You had this set of choices, and if you pick the wrong choice, game over. So, fuck this game, man. You need a guide. You need a walkthrough to get everything right, so you can get to the end with as little damage as possible, and with your bonding points with Kid up to the roof. So you can get the only fucking ending in the game. Well, I didn't know that because the first time, I've never played this game before. This was my first time playing it. But I watched a fan-translated playthrough of it a long time ago. This is a game that takes roughly 2 hours. 2 hours, so it isn't that big of a deal. I'm gonna have to restart the whole fucking game and read a walkthrough so Serge can get to the end unscratched, and with my points with Kid, my love points with Kid, maxed out or as high as I can, so I can get the normal good ending of the game. It's 2 hours, so it's okay, right? It's not that much. But right now I'm fucking furious, man. I mean, this is bullshit. This is just bullshit, man. My entire playthrough ruined because I decided to attack instead of defend, or because I decided to dodge and Kid didn't like that. Wow! Fuck this game. What the fuck, man? What were they thinking? This is trash. Fuck this game. Oh man. Alright, so that's it. That's my rant. Play this game with a guy. That's what I'm going to do. Right now I'm probably gonna ditch the game and come back to it much later. I'm probably going to continue playing Chrono Cross or play another game. And once I cool down, once I'm like, okay, I'm in the mood to play an entire game, reading a walkthrough on my phone the whole time. When I get to those battles, those random battles, you gotta dodge in this battle, okay, dodge. And does Kid like that? Yes, she does. Okay, I got it right. Until the end. Or I can just watch a fucking video on YouTube. Like I did. I already know how the game ends. I already know how this game ends because a long time ago I watched a full playthrough. A correct playthrough, by this, I don't remember the YouTuber, I found it on YouTube. And it's like, it took the guy for like an hour and something, to beat the game. And I was like, oh, okay. This is something that I could enjoy one day. Well, I didn't enjoy it. What the hell? So, the question is, do I still recommend this text adventure game? Yes, with a guide. You're gonna feel like you're cheating, because you're not supposed to... guides are not supposed to be like this. Guides are supposed to tell you secrets. Guides are supposed to tell you how to beat a certain really hard boss, or where to go when you don't know where to go, when you're stuck. Guides aren't supposed to tell you what to decide all the time, especially during random battles, just to get an ending, any ending, something at the end, just to prevent you from getting stuck. Because, man, if I made the wrong choices during my playthrough, even during battle, okay, give me a bad ending, but give me one. Give me whatever. Anything. Don't just kill me and say, oh, I died, thanks, bye. That's bullshit. In Valkyrie Profile, you get an ending, man. That's my point. In Valkyrie Profile, it's the same bullshit, You need a walkthrough to get the good ending. But if you don't get the good ending in Valkyrie Profile, at least you get a whole adventure, a whole experience, a whole journey, and at the end, you get an ending. It's a normal, regular, whatever ending, but it's an ending, right? In this game, you don't get an ending. What? What? Squaresoft. Masato, dear Masato Kato. This guy, Masato Kato, is my idol. He's my favorite scriptwriter in everything. Everything. I love the guy. He's a big influence in my life. Now I've lost a little bit of respect because this is horse shit. Maybe he didn't decide this, I don't know. But whoever made the decision to fuck the entire playthrough just because you decided to defend during one battle or to attack from this side, it's a fucking asshole. Fuck this guy. Yes, it does have trophies. So that's my rant, everybody. That's my rant. That is my rant. I'm still kind of pissed off because I was playing this like an hour and a half ago. I was like, with my controller, I was like, I can't believe this. So I looked it up online, and when I realized you have an HP bar and an appreciation bar or a bonding bar with Kid, I was like, fuck this game. So let's get on with your questions for today, guys. Whatever you want to talk about. Welcome to the goddamned Q&A where you get to ask your goddamned questions and I'll give you goddamned answers. Anyway, don't worry about the Chrono Cross remaster is still a masterpiece. Most people are gonna buy these. All people are gonna buy these remastered because of the game, not because of Radical Dreamers. Radical Dreamers is just kind of there to make you suffer. But if you play Radical Dreamers with a guide, you'll like it. If it doesn't bother you. If it doesn't bother you looking at your cell phone to make so a guide can tell you what decision to make on every single point of the game so you can get the good ending. The ending, whatever ending, but the ending. If you don't mind that, go for it. I'll do that. I'm angry right now, but I'll definitely do that. Because that's the only way to play Radical fucking Dreamers. With a guide. Anyway, so yeah. I still recommend the game with a guide. With no guide, fuck it forever, completely ignore it. And play Chrono Cross, which is freaking beautiful. Except for those non-remastered CGI cutscenes, the game is beautiful. It's, in my opinion, the best version of Chrono Cross to play nowadays. So, on to your questions. Eric, do you recommend beating Chrono Cross blind? Yes, because unlike Radical Dreamers, you can do your first playthrough of Chrono Cross completely blind and you still get an ending. It doesn't matter. The very first time I played Chrono Cross in my life, I played it blind. And I still got my regular ending. It's not the good ending, but it's the regular ending. You didn't need to know how to play the song at the very end during the final boss to get the good ending. And especially with Kid in your party. To get the true ending in Chrono Cross, you need to play the song correctly at the final boss and have Kid in your party. If you take out Kid, it's the same ending, but you miss like a couple of things that Kid says, and that's it. You still get the good ending. But if you don't play the song and you just beat the final boss regularly, you get an ending. It's not a bad ending, but it's not a good ending either. So go for it. I'll say, yeah, you can beat the game blind. No problem. If you find your love, oh man, that's a good one. Will you marry her, or you don't want to marry at all? I do want to get married. I definitely want to get married. I've been wanting to get married since forever. I just haven't found the right person. What do you think about PlayStation games expiring and you can't play them anymore digital on PS3? Oh, because of the Vandal Hearts 3 thing? Well, it's still there. Right now you can still play those games, right? You can still buy them. You can't use your debit or credit card to buy games on your PS3, not even PayPal. You need to transfer funds from your PS4 or PS5 account back to your PS3, and then you can buy any game on the PS3. It's bullshit, right? But we gotta love PlayStation, man. Oh, like I said, guys, play Chrono Cross. Buy the remaster if you can. Get it if it's cheap. It's cheap. It's $20. I still think that's a high price for a digital game. But compared to all of those $50 or $60 digital games, wow, $20. And no, Square Enix didn't pay me to advertise the game. Remember, Square Enix fucking hates me. The hatred is kind of mutual. They know that. That's why they never give me review codes and ignored me. I deserve that. Anyway, thank you, Jason. He says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Soul Hackers 2? By the way, I have a ton of SMT5 music on my channel. You do? Oh, you uploaded new content to your channel? I am excited for Soul Hackers 2, but I gotta be honest with you. Remember what happened to me last year with Shin Megami Tensei 5? Yeah, so I'm not even gonna ask. Because I know for a fact the guys in Atlus PR, the people who give review codes to YouTubers, fucking hate me. It's crystal clear. I kind of proved that. But so I'm excited for the game, but not really. Which means don't expect a review from me when that game comes out. I'm going to completely ignore it until it's like $30 physical and I can finally buy it and play it. But that's about it. Thankfully, it's coming out to the PS4 and all platforms, right? It's even gonna be on the Xbox One, I think. Wow, Shin Megami Tensei game on an Xbox console. We got that before with Shin Megami Tensei 9. It's not the 9th title in the series, just called 9 on the original Xbox, but only in Japan. But anyway, no, I'm excited for Soul Hackers 2, but at the same time, I'm not. So in a scale from 1 to 10, 5. Because I'm interested in the game, but I know I'm not gonna get it until it's dirt cheap. Anyway. Oh yeah, before when I went to YouTube here earlier today, before starting this stream, I noticed there was like a video saying that Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer has been revealed. Good. I don't give a rat's ass about Kingdom Hearts. Do you agree Jude Mathis looks like Ludush? Ludush from Code Geass. Yeah, they look a little bit alike. Oh, why not? I watched a Twitch channel with 1,000 subscribers, and she got a review code from Square Enix. I don't get review codes from Square Enix because I have strongly criticized the company. I've made very dark humor jokes about them. I've insulted one of the bigger names, which is Tetsuya Nomura. I don't like the asshole. There. You know? And Square Enix knows that. So, yeah, I asked for a review code some time ago for Triangle Strategy. They completely ignored me. Yeah, I don't get review codes. I didn't even bother asking for a review code for Chrono Cross. So, yeah, I don't get review codes, man. I can have like 1 million subscribers. Well, maybe if I have 1 million subscribers, they will like, okay, this guy insults us and hates us, but it's money, so there you go. Square Enix are billionaires, man. They don't need a guy like me who talks shit about them. So there's your answer. What do you think about the Union Chronicle? I'm very excited. You know, I covered the game when it was announced last year. No, almost 2 years ago. And I'm very excited for both games, for both Rising and the regular Union Chronicle, 100 Heroes. I really want to do that. You know, I really want to play the game. I hope I get a review code because I'm on good terms with those guys. They reached out to me to give me some promotional material, trailers and shit 2 years ago. So I like to believe that I'll get a review code for those games. No, I didn't play Room Factory 5. I didn't ask for a review code, but a long time ago, Exceed reached out to me. Well, I reached out to them saying, hey, whenever you guys want to give me a review code for an RPG, let me know. And they were like, oh, will you be interested in covering the new Harvest Moon game? And I was like, you know what? Damn, what do I do here? So very politely, I said, if you have an RPG, of some sort, let me know, like Room Factory, for example, or something like that. But I'm currently not interested in covering Harvest Moon. It's not my type of game. I don't really cover those types of games, so yeah, thank you, but I'm gonna pass on this. So I never heard back from them. Probably got offended because I didn't want to cover the new Harvest Moon game from last year. So I did not get a review code for Room Factory 5. Erick is blacklisted by Square Enix, pretty much, and also by Atlus, as you already know that. I mean, yeah, I'm blacklisted by those two companies. I didn't receive a code for Elden Ring from Bandai Namco, even though I reached out to them last year after Tales of Arise had been released. And I was like, hey, if you guys want to give me any review codes for your RPGs, let me know. And the girl who answered was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I didn't get one for Elden Ring, probably because, well, a lot of people don't think as Miyazaki. When it comes to Miyazaki games, they don't think of them as JRPGs, and Bandai Namco kind of knows that my channel is more focused on Japanese role-playing games, or maybe they've noticed that I don't like Souls games, so they didn't even bother, and honestly, I didn't even bother asking. So I don't know if I'm blacklisted on Bandai Namco as well, I don't think so, but Atlus and Square Enix, definitely. Are you planning to try some new indie JRPGs? Sure, I'm always trying indie RPGs. Right now I think I'm gonna take a break because I was playing a bunch of them. I was playing Rise of the Third Power, Edge of Eternity. Rise of the Third Power, I finished it and I loved it. Amazing game. Edge of Eternity kind of bored me with the boss battle. I was like, man, I'm too lazy to do this boss battle. It's kind of an easy battle, but it takes too long because you gotta do this and that and move around, and it just takes forever and it's kind of boring, and I quit. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to Edge of Eternity. I probably will at some point, but right now I think I'm gonna go back to something different. If you wanted to get Switch or PS4 5 for JRPGs, well, I'm a PlayStation guy. Switch is amazing, but we gotta admit that graphically speaking, most JRPGs look better on the PlayStation 4 than on Switch. It's been proven, so PlayStation 4 for me. If you wanted to get someone into JRPGs, what game would you recommend to him or her? Wow. Come on, man, there's a lot of Chrono Cross. Well, you don't like Souls games. Yeah, exactly. That's probably the reason why Bandai Namco didn't even bother with me. I was like, nah, we give. They gave me a review code for Final Fantasy Origin, the Stranger in Paradise or whatever. I didn't use it, I didn't care. I'm just not interested in those games. I agree, Terry, but I'm just speculating. I don't know if Exceed Games got offended. Maybe they said, "Oh, this YouTuber doesn't cover simulation games," and Room Factory is half an RPG, half a simulation game. So they probably thought he's not gonna want it. Maybe I should have asked for the review code, man. I should have reached out to them and said, "Hey, I'm interested." Despite what I said before about the Harvest Moon games, I'm interested in this Room Factory game. But the question is, am I really interested? I'm not a fan. I'm not a Room Factory fan, so yeah. Well, yeah. I think we boast about being blacklisted or censored or shadow banned. We boast because it's really something that really bothers us, and we want to tell people, as many people as we can, how YouTube works and how companies work. Because there's a lot of people out there who are very small YouTubers. They're just starting, or they're thinking about starting a YouTube channel. So the reasons why we do, the reasons why I do, I can only speak for myself. I don't know why other YouTubers boast about being shadow banned or blacklisted. Is because my way of telling people, this is what you're gonna get into. If you say fuck, you're gonna be censored. If you say something that the algorithm misinterprets as offensive or whatever, you're gonna get shadow banned. If you show too much fan service, too much lewd things, or I don't know, whatever, you're gonna get shadow banned. Or if you criticize a company like I did with Atlus or Square Enix, you might get blacklisted. And it's our way of warning people, but also our way of venting out the frustration, because it is frustrating, it's very frustrating to know that you have been shadow banned or blacklisted or whatever, So it's like, man, it shouldn't be that way. So we're trying to voice this out, so maybe things will change one day. So maybe YouTube will say, oh, a lot of our YouTubers are complaining constantly about this and are calling this unfair, right? So that's the reason why I boast about that whenever I get the chance. It's not to create a controversy or to get more I've lost subscribers just because I boasted about that. So it doesn't have anything to do with getting views, or I don't know. But anyway, are you disappointed in the Chrono Cross remaster? No, I did an entire review of it a couple of days ago. I really don't care about Kingdom Hearts. It's just business, exactly. I mean, like I said, Square Enix are billionaires. They don't need me. Other companies, other indie companies or smaller companies, maybe they don't like me. Maybe, I'm just speculating, but they still reach out to me because they know they need me to promote their games. But Square Enix, I'm nothing, man. They have millions of YouTubers willing to respectfully take their review codes and shut up and never say anything bad about them. Come on, I mean, it's business. What's your job besides YouTube? This is my only job. I'm also an author, but when you write books, you're not constantly writing every day. Sometimes we take, months before we sit down and write anything new, or years even. So you could say that this is my job. Someone tell that Toa girl to stop overloading herself with work. I don't know why people like Toa so much. I mean, I guess because I have no idea. I mean, she's cute and all, but I kind of prefer other girls that look like women. Toa looks like a little girl. I mean, and she's older. They make fun of that, you know. She's like, oh, you're probably 12, right? And she says, no, I'm like 26 or something. Anyway, hyped about a Yuden Chronicle. Very hyped. Have you made a video on Suicode? Sure. No. What? Suicode? What's that? Oh, man. How long does it take to beat Nocturne? I've never beaten Nocturne. Square Evil? Come on. Hey, the guy left, right? He just... I was expecting to hear something. And I politely replied. He probably left. The guy who was complaining about boasting about being shadow banned. It's like, oh, I'm blacklisted. Hey guys, I'm the blacklisted guy. Check it out. Oh man. What are you currently playing? Well, I was just currently playing Radical Dreamers, hence the title of this video. For those, I have 130 something people right now watching. For those who missed my Radical Dreamers rant, you can go back and watch it. Just rewind the video and you can watch it. For like 20 minutes I gave a rant about how I found the game pretty much poorly programmed and deceptive, cryptic, and extremely unfair. Thankfully, it's a 2 hours long game, so you can just restart it if you fucked up like I did. But I mean, sometimes when you fuck up in something, it's your fault, right? In video games. In this game, I don't think it's your fault. How are you supposed to know if attack, defend, or evade, which one is the best course of action? You know, it's not real life. We can fuck up in real life, you know, during a real battle. If you didn't dodge, you know, you fuck up and you got hit and you lost the battle. But you don't get a game over screen. You don't gotta start your life from the beginning. Don't get me started. Don't keep me going on the rant, man. Best RPGs seem to get better the older they are. Some of them are still, you know, I think, let's take a game like, I don't know, let me think of one RPG that I've played, I don't know, maybe 3 times. Or 2 times, you know. Well, I can't think of anything, you know, but I can think of Star Ocean Till the End of Time. And that's a game that when I first played it, I loved it. It quickly became my favorite Star Ocean of all time. And I was like, man, this is one of my favorite PS2 RPGs ever. Star Ocean 3. This guy. And when I played the game several years later for a second time, I didn't beat it. I got stuck in a puzzle, in a really annoying puzzle, where you need to play a flute and open some doors. I don't know if you guys remember that puzzle. And I was annoyed. And I was like, man, I didn't remember this puzzle to be this bad, this annoying. And it's like it's a bad puzzle, you know, it sucks. Because just like in Radical Dreamers, it's like, well, not poorly programmed. Thank you, Nate. It's not poorly programmed, but it's like, it's boring, it's tedious, it's not fun. Even if you already know what to do, it's not fun. It's like and there's a previous puzzle in Star Ocean 3 where you gotta ride this massive turtle-like monster, you know? And it's so hard to control, and it sucks. It's a terrible mini game, you know, and it's forced on you. It's not optional. You gotta play that part to progress with the game. And that to me, it's kind of outdated. It just, some of the puzzles in Star Ocean 3 did not age well. But anyway, Nate, opinion on Dark Cloud 1 and 2. I think, well, I'm not a fan of the first Dark Cloud. I think it's a good game, but I didn't get very far because it was very unbalanced. You know, sometimes I will beat the crap out of the enemies in one hit and the next enemy hits me and I die. And it's just very repetitive, and I got tired of the water system. You get thirsty, and if you don't drink water, you know, you die or you go back to the village, and it's kind of annoying. Dark Cloud 2 was much better for me. That's just my opinion. You still have some shenanigans, some annoying shenanigans in there, but it's a much better game in my opinion. You talked about games on PS4 better looking than on the Switch. I did. So you will pick a PS4. But I can notice that a lot of games that you love are not technical marvels. Oh yeah, that's a good point, you know. I'm usually the type of guy who Well, I don't often do that, but I do it nonetheless. I talk about graphics and I criticize graphics. But then in other videos I say I don't really care about the graphics, right? But it's just something that doesn't really affect me. Like, I'm fine playing the Switch version of anything, but I'm gonna give preference to the PS4 because I like the PS4 more. That's about it. And even if I don't care about the graphics, some of the graphics have these small issues, like frame rate issues, and they don't really bother me that much. But if I can choose between the version with no frame rate issues versus the version with frame rate issues, even if the graphics look like a PS2 game, which one do you think I'm going to choose? If I can choose. Because sometimes I choose a Switch version just because it's cheaper, Have you played Alphadia Genesis? No, isn't that a Kemco RPG? It's the Viper Manor song. Have you finished God Eater 2? No, I rage quit on God Eater 2. Well, I didn't rage quit. It was more like, man, this is as far as I go. I mean, well, in a sense, I can say that I finished the game. I just didn't finish the post game in God Eater 2. But the thing about the God Eater games is that you get to the final boss. I don't know if this is the same case in God Eater 3, but in the first two God Eater games, you beat the final boss. That's it, you get the credits. But when the credits end, they take you back to your base. As if nothing happened, as if, okay, so we beat this final boss and let's continue from there. So it's like the story continues in God Eater 1 and 2. The story continues and you just gotta keep playing. You don't feel like, did you really beat the game? Because the characters are acting as if there's more, and then there's more, and there's more. There's a problem with this ending, So there's this new problem, so we gotta go fix it. So you keep playing, but this is the post game, and it's brutal. At the beginning, it's okay, it's normal, but eventually, the more you fight, the more missions you take, you get to a point where the bosses are freaking brutal. In the first Resurrection, in the first God Eater game, I got to this boss late in the post game, and I just couldn't defeat the boss. I tried 3 times, and I was like, no. And God Eater, God Eater aren't games where you level up. You don't level up in God Eater. You gotta customize everything, or get better weapons, or better armor, better bullets, or whatever, to be able to beat that specific boss. You can't just grind. You don't grind in those games. If you grind, you do that for materials maybe, but you don't level up, you don't gain experience. There are no experience points in God Eater. And in God Eater 2, what happened, and this just happened to me actually like 3 days ago on Thursday. And I got to this part late in the post game of God Eater 2. And without spoiling why, I want to say that you gotta fight 4 bosses in a row. And in between those 4 bosses, you can't save, and you can't restock your items. I died at the 4th battle because the 3rd boss pretty much destroyed me, and I miraculously survived because you only have 1 party member for these 4 bosses, only 1. That's it. Usually you have 3 party members and your protagonist, right? For these 4 boss battles, you only have 1 party member, 1 ally that can revive you if you die. And they can revive you several times, thankfully. That's why I made it through all 4 bosses. But in the 4th boss, it's just extremely hard. Hit me 3 times, 2 times, and I'm dead. So I died. And I was like, man, I'm not gonna go through 4 bosses again just to... maybe I'll come back to it one day, but for now I'm done with God Eater 1 and 2. I like to believe that I beat them because I beat the final boss and got my credits right, like in Dragon Quest XI. Anyone? Thank you, Abdu. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Abdu Kohli. The worst JRPG I have ever played is The Last Rebellion on PS3. Have you had the pleasure of playing this gem? A little bit. Just a little bit. I borrowed the game once and I returned it the next day. It's bad. I don't think it's the worst I've personally played, but it's bad. It is bad. It's one of the worst RPGs on the PS3. I think Time and Eternity is worse on the PS3. But yeah, Last Rebellion is kind of bad. And did you know that, NIS America localized that game and they apologized. They apologized. You can read this in Wikipedia. The director of NIS America apologized for localizing the game. It was like, man, we shouldn't have localized this game. We should be localizing quality stuff, not these types of non-quality games. They apologized for localizing a bad game. Are you a fan of Until Dawn, Man of... Nope. I know of those games, Until Dawn, Little Hope, House of Ashes. I know the series, but I haven't played a single one of them. If edited series can get a new game, which will you choose? Suicune or Grow Lancer? And Grow Lancer don't count. Well, we're getting a new Valkyrie game, right? It's not Valkyrie Profile 3 or 4, but it's a new Valkyrie game, so I guess that doesn't count either, right? Grow Lancer and Suicune don't count. How about a new Breath of Fire game? How about a new Breath of Fire game? Yeah. A good Breath of Fire for consoles. Turn-based. The only way to get stronger in Chrono Cross is to fight regular enemies every now and then so you can get HP increases. But that's about it. That's about it. And Chrono Cross is all about strategy. It's all about, knowing what elements to use at what time and what characters, what party members to use against which specific boss. Have you ever played Magic Knight Rayearth? I played the one on the Saturn in Japanese, so I didn't get very far because I couldn't understand shit. And it's an okay game. It's kind of outdated for the Sega Saturn. I mean, if you've seen footage of it, or if you've played the game yourself, you're gonna be like, this is like a Super Nintendo game, honestly. But it's an okay game. If Chrono Trigger gets remade, do you think it'll get the HD 2D treatment? Oh, you mean like Octopath Traveler? That'll be bonkers, I wouldn't like to see a remake of Chrono Trigger in the way Final Fantasy VII was done. A massive, like a beautiful, super highest production values in terms of graphics in an action RPG. I'm not sure. I don't know, man. But if it gets a remake and it's still turn-based and it's HD 2D, I'll shut up and take my money. Do you think this Vita/PS3 digital expired glitch is temporary? What? What are you talking about? Can I recommend Xenogears on PSN to people still? What glitch? Wait, what glitch? What expired glitch? Tell me about that, because I just made a video. I haven't posted the video yet. But I don't know. What glitch? I'm worried. Are you going to review Trails from Zero and all Trails games? I probably will, yeah. I'll probably repost my Falcom video that I just released on Tuesday. Looks like a database error that shouldn't be too difficult to fix, but whether they bother is another matter. What's going on? Holy shit, man, don't say that to me. PS1 games are expiring early on store. What about PS2 games? What's up with the music? Why is it like this? Why is it all jumpy and shit? Not sure what's wrong with the... Not a clue what's going on with the music, guys. I'm sorry. Why is it so jumpy? We'll put a link to the glitch in the Discord. It's kind of funny. It stops people playing the games they own. Really? So you're playing the game on the PlayStation that you bought on the PlayStation 3 or Vita and it just stops? You get an error? Is it happening also for PS2 games? I'm downloading a PS1 Classic right now, Mega Man Legends 2. Let's see if it works. Oh. Man, if there's a glitch, my upcoming video is gonna be pointless. on the Vita. What do you mean they expire? Well, we're gonna have to look into this later. Are you a fan of the Fire Emblem series? I'm a huge fan of Fire Emblem. If you go to my channel right now, you'll see a video of my 10 favorite JRPG series. I'm sorry guys, I can't pretend that I care about Kingdom Hearts. I don't care about Kingdom Hearts 4. Sorry. It's been at least 2 days. Okay. But it's only a problem for PS1 games, right? What about PS2 games? Nobody knows. On the Vita and the PS3 there is a database error that is changing the date on the system that makes games downloaded unplayable. All games? I guess that's it. I gotta work on a new video for Tuesday. My upcoming video, yeah. Damn. Alright. Oh, it's because they released the PlayStation Plus on PS4 and 5. You lose all controls of the game, you need to hit the home button and go back in the game. Wow. Not yet on PS2, okay? Fuck. It's affecting random games for random people. Yeah, but still. Anyway, Fire Emblem 8. Erica or Ephraim Root. I always pick Erica. I've picked Ephraim only once, but I always pick Erica. I love Eric. Thanks for letting me know about this issue, guys. We'll see about that, right? Anyway, a lot of people joined recently. Yes, I think Radical Dreamers is a poorly programmed game, and it's very conniving son of a bitch of a game. Don't play it without a guide. That's pretty much my rant in a nutshell of Radical Dreamers. Play it with a guide. That's it. If you don't want to do that, don't play it. Don't bother with it. What kind of gameplay turn-based you love? Well, I love all of them, you know, I love a lot of experiments. I don't have quite the answer for you because I know I can love a game that is like really convoluted like Valkyrie Profile 2 with a system that is like a hybrid. And then I can play a regular turn-based RPG like the old Final Fantasy games with the attack waiting bar. Or one with no attack waiting bar and whatever, you know, I love all things turn-based. I'm more of a strategy RPG guy, but you know, I love turn-based, you know. Have you played Shining the Holy Ark? Yeah, on the Sega Saturn. Well, it's a bit of it's a dungeon crawler in first person with the graphics look great. Pre-rendered backgrounds and shit. Pre-rendered, you know, sprites or character models, I don't know. But it looks beautiful, the game looks beautiful, but I never got any far into it. Yeah, Ephraim's Root is a little bit like that. It's harder. But I've beaten the Ephraim Root, yeah. Did you like the remake of Secret of Mana better than Radical Dreamers? What? My rant today is about the text adventure game. The remaster. What are your thoughts on the first Final Fantasy 13? Not a fan at all. I played it and like an hour and a half later I ditched the game. I was like, this is garbage. This is not Final Fantasy. Nope. Not a bad game, I think, but nope. Have you played the Pathfinder games? No. Pathfinder. Nope, never heard of him. What's the hardest JRPG game you've completed without a guide? Chrono Cross, probably. I don't know, I'll have to think about that. Because some of the hardest JRPGs that I've beaten, I did look up to a walkthrough, you know, to know what was I supposed to do. Or, I don't remember. Chrono Cross might have been one of them. Thank you, Full Metal, what? Full Metal Frog? Thanks, man. If you ever get a new laptop or PC, will you stream a Nintendo DS game? Definitely, man. Right now I'm looking forward to buying a Wii U, so I can stream Wii games and Wii U games, and maybe if I can set up an emulator for the GameCube on my Wii U, or I can buy a Wii U that is already hacked with a GameCube emulator, then you'll probably start seeing streams on those consoles. Finally, at long last. But if I ever get a better computer, which might probably be happen this year, I'll definitely stream Nintendo DS games. Is the Valkyria Chronicles series hard for a beginner in strategy RPGs? A little bit, yeah. Start with 4. 4 is more friendly, especially because it has an easy mode. The first Valkyria Chronicles does not have an easy mode on any version. So it might be a little bit hard, but I don't know. Maybe you're a good, badass gamer, you know. Try it out. I mean, Valkyria Chronicles, both games are dirt cheap, especially the first one on the PS3. So maybe just try it out. I gave up on Monarch. How far are you in Monarch? I gave up on the game. I rage quit, remember? Fuck that game. Is there a JRPG that was so bad it desecrated the legacy of the series, in your opinion? Well, yeah, there's a lot of JRPGs that I was like... Final Fantasy XIII is precisely that. We were just talking about it a few seconds ago. But yeah, there's been a lot of JRPGs that I was like, man, this shouldn't be called Final Fantasy. I seriously can't think of a better example than Final Fantasy. Well, I guess Final Fantasy X-2 will be it. But back when Final Fantasy X-2 was released, I was like, this is what, a spin-off maybe? Because I played the game and I was like, this sucks, it's garbage. And I moved on. But then Final Fantasy XII was released, and Final Fantasy XII was phenomenal. I love the game. But then when I played Final Fantasy XIII, a main title, a long-awaited title, you know, I was like, that game, as you say, desecrated the legacy of the series, in my opinion. That's not Final Fantasy. Is it a good or a bad game? I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. But I think it's a decent game, a decent RPG, but it's a terrible Final Fantasy game. Is there an indie RPG that changed your opinion about indie JRPGs? Not yet. I haven't played a lot of indie JRPGs. Remember, to me, a JRPG is a Japanese role-playing game. Indie RPGs, even if they look Japanese, most of them are American or European. So that's a European RPG for me. Or an American RPG. A Western RPG. And the answer is, well, I finished Rise of the Third Power recently, and I loved it. But I think I need more convincing. What's your favorite kind of taco? I don't know, El Pastor, I guess? Did you like the Caligula effect too? Well, it is much better than the first one. I agree with that. But I didn't like the game because of the music. The music that plays during the battle themes, the battle system, is just... I don't like J-pop, man. And listening to J-pop over and over again while I fight, you know, it's kinda what killed the first game for me, so it killed the second one for me again. But it's... aside from that, you know, if you like J-pop, Caligula Effect 2 is a much better game. It's a good game. What is your best PSP JRPG? That's the only console where I don't have a favorite. You know, I have my favorites on every single console, that's set. But I'm always struggling between Grow Lancer or Trails in the Sky 1 and 2. both chapters, or Ragnarok Tactics, or Fate Extra. You know, just for the sake of it, I'm gonna pick Trails in the Sky, but it's gotta be the 2 chapters, not just 1 chapter, both of them together. That's my pick on the PSP for now. Everybody thought, even me, for a while, the Child of Light was an indie game. I thought that too a long time ago, until I realized no, it was just developed by this huge company called Ubisoft. So no, it's not an indie, but it looks like one. Have you played Albert Odyssey? Nope. Oh yeah, on the Sega Saturn, yeah, I did for a bit. I played a bunch of Sega Saturn games at a friend's house one day, but they were all only for a bit, you know. Other than that, I haven't touched Sega Saturn. I can't make a Sega Saturn emulator work on my computer for some reason. Have you tried Melon DS? Never heard of it. Oh, I used this Mume. You think Legend of Dragoon or Xenogears will get a remaster next? Oh, Legend of Dragoon, I kinda doubt it. I hope it gets a remaster. I kinda doubt it. Xenogears is more likely to happen. What do you think about Valkyrie Elysium? Well, I watched the trailer and I was like, we talked about this like a month ago when the trailer was released. It looks great, it looks fun, and I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in playing it. I probably won't cover the game because it's a Square Enix game. They're not gonna give me a review code, so I'm gonna have to wait until the game is like $30. I'll probably have to wait like a couple of years for that to happen. But the game looks great, but it's just not what Valkyrie Profile fans want. We want a real Valkyrie Profile game, turn-based, and not this new action RPG. It looks great, but it's not what we fans want. Waiting for that Astonisha story remaster. Hey, if they fix the problems of that game in the remaster, I will play it. You know, I'm gonna play it. You know, I didn't like the first Front Mission game. I didn't like. Well, there's a remake of it on the Nintendo DS because the original Super Famicom version stayed in Japan, and I know it's fan translated. But I played the DS remake of Front Mission, the first one. I hated it. I was like, well, I didn't hate it, but I was like, man, no, just no. So I'm waiting. I'm looking forward to the remaster to see if it's gonna be better, to see if it hooks me up this time. So maybe I'm not against an Astonisha story remaster. I mean, why not? It could work, but it's probably never gonna happen. What do you think about PS Plus with PS1, PS3 backward compatibility? Hopefully we can see some great old RPG. We were just talking about how there's mysteriously a glitch on the PlayStation 3 or Vita store right now, and people think it's because of that, because they're migrating to the PlayStation Plus backwards, you know, compatibility. The fact that Elysium isn't made by Tri-Ace is what bothers me the most. It's not gonna be made by Tri-Ace? Yeah, that bothers me too. Me too, you know, I'm looking forward to Valkyrie Elysium, but I'm gonna have to play it with an open mind. Now that I know it's not being developed by Tri-Ace, and that it's an action RPG, and that it's not Valkyrie Profile, maybe I'll play the game with an open mind. But I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be top tier, and Valkyrie Profile games are, at least the first 2 games, are still gonna be much better. I can prophesize that. What's your favorite controller? You know, it used to be. I think I'm gonna choose this one. I think this is my favorite controller of all time now, the PlayStation 4 controller. It used to be the PlayStation 3 controller, but I think I've gotten more used to this one. I've never played Shadowrun. Who's your favorite Trails villain? Some villains are kind of a spoiler, you know. Yeah, some of my favorite villains are kind of spoilers. If I say who they are, people are gonna be like, hey, that's not a bad guy. Yeah, I can't answer that. What game you thought you will hate but loved after you played it? Well, I made a video called 10 JRPGs that surpassed my expectations. Not all of them, but most of those games I thought I was gonna hate them, and I didn't. I loved them. So go watch that video if you can. So my Mega Man Legends 2 works on my Vita. I just downloaded it right now from the store. I purchased it after a few months ago. Oh, you bought the game a few months ago and you just downloaded it today and it works. Okay. So like somebody else was saying, it seems to be random, right? Maybe it'll stop working at some point. Mega Man Legends 2, that's a good one. Do you think Breath of Fire will ever be revived? No. I think in these occasions, in these circumstances, I think sometimes it's better to be pessimistic. That way we won't get disappointed. I honestly don't think Breath of Fire will come back. And if it does, it's gonna be a mobile game again, probably. Or some free-to-play bullshit. Yes, I've played Princess Crown, and I didn't get very far because there's no English translation. I remember I didn't even get to the... I got to the tutorial, there's a battle training in there, but I never got out of the castle. After that tutorial battle, I never got out of the castle. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I tried exiting from certain ways, talking to people. I got stuck, so I gave up. I hope Princess Crown gets a fan translation one day. Because I don't think that's a game we'll ever get. Like an official English release? I don't think so. I think Atlus owns it, and it's just not gonna happen. We'll be better waiting for a fan translation of Princess Crown. Do I play the remake or the older version? Of what? Favorite horror game of all time? Hunting Ground on the PS2, also known as Demento in Japan. It's by Capcom, speaking about Capcom. Yeah, that's my favorite horror game of all time. Or maybe Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares, man. But I'm picking Hunting Ground. That's by far my favorite. Do you think Wild Arms will be revived? Well, they released, was it a couple of years ago? Wild Arms Million Memories, which is a mobile game. And I don't know if it got a North American release, and I don't know if it was successful. So, if Wild Arms comes back, it's going to depend on the success of this game. If it doesn't succeed, I don't think Sony will give a shit about the franchise at all. Hey, at least they tried reviving the series, right? But mobile was not the way to go. They should learn that by now. Maybe Japanese people love mobile. We talked about this, remember? A couple of weeks ago during the last Q&A. Mobile games are great in Japan, good for them, but most gamers outside of Japan hate them. We don't want our favorite RPG franchises coming back on mobile. And Sony just doesn't listen, they don't give a shit. So no, I don't think Wild Arms will ever come back. I hope they prove me wrong though. I'm not a badass in Dragon Quest. I suck at Dragon Quest. Chrono Cross Play This Remaster. It's not a remake, it's a remaster. There's a big difference. I'll have to make a video about that one day. The difference between a remake and a remaster. Play the remaster. It's better than the original. Million Memories shouldn't have happened. Well, I don't care if it happened or not. All I want is for a new Wild Arms on a console. No free-to-play, no gacha bullshit. A brand new turn-based. No strategy or... I mean, strategy was fine, but they fucked up in the PSP title. But no action, please. Although it will be... As an action RPG spin-off of Wild Arms will be interesting, so you can fight with the guns. And there's a game called Rapid Reload on the PS1, only in Europe and Japan. With the same artist in Wild Arms, but it's got nothing to do with the Wild Arms. If they finish the translation of Girl Answer 6, will you stream it? They have already finished the translation as far as I'm concerned, and I downloaded the ROM for my PS2 and it didn't work. So either I play it on my computer or game over and wait until I find a new ROM that can work on my PS2 memory card. Because I have the free MacBoot memory card on the PS2, but the Girl Answer 6 doesn't work. Does Radical Dreamers tie into Chrono Cross or Trigger? A little bit, but not really. Radical Dreamers seems to be its own thing. It does have some references to both games, but it's definitely its own thing. And if you're gonna play Radical Dreamers, play it with a guide. Okay? Play Radical Dreamers with a guide. That's my advice. Otherwise, it's almost a terrible game and a terrible waste of time. Do not play Radical Dreamers blind. You're probably gonna fuck up like I did and get no ending and get stuck in at the end. It's bullshit. That was my rant of today. So play Radical Dreamers with a guide. Have you played the Dodonpachi game? No! I know Oscar has it. Those games. We'll probably meet up next week at his house, and I'll probably play Dodonpachi for the first time. What does your gaming setup look like? Do you play on monitor or TV for consoles? I only play on consoles. I very rarely play on my computer, unless I'm emulating something quick that I need for my channel, but I'm usually playing on my TV. And it's a mess up. It's a table with a lot of cables around because I have my modem, my phone, the old phones. I'm not talking about this type of phone. I'm talking about the old retro phones. And I have my PS4, my PS3, my Switch, my PS2 is there, my PS TV, and my streaming software, my streaming hardware, the Elgato capture card and the splitter. It's a freaking mess, man. I think Breath of Fire is more likely to come back than Suikoden. Suikoden will never come back because it's already coming back in the form of a Eiyuden Chronicle. So you might be right, in a sense. The final boss in Tales of Eternia is bullshit. Thanks for letting me know. When it comes to Tales of Eternia, I think I'm gonna wait for a remaster of some kind. If it never comes, then I'll probably go back to the PSP version and restart it. And I'll get to that final boss and see for myself if it's bullshit or not. It probably will be. Shadowrun was an action RPG. It came out for Nintendo and Sega, both with completely different games. Sega was the better one. It was based off Johnny Mnemonic. Thanks for the info. You're gonna play DDP? Hell yeah, stream it. DDP? What's DDP, Dodonpachi? No, I'll probably play it at my friend's house. I don't think I'll stream it. Would you recommend playing Radical Dreamers before or after Chrono Cross? Man, after. I recommend playing Radical Dreamers after Chrono Cross. And I recommend playing it with a guide, with a walkthrough. Without a walkthrough, Radical Dreamers is bullshit and it's a waste of your time. Play the game with a guide. Your thoughts on Fragrant Story? You mean Vagrant Story? Because Fragrant Story, I don't know. I don't know that game, man. I know Vagrant Story, and it's a good game, I just couldn't get into it. Maybe one day I'll come back to it. But it just seemed kind of bland and boring to me, gameplay-wise. The story and the characters looked amazing. Like, man, Yasumi Matsuno, that's a hell of a writer. But the dungeon design, the enemies looked bland. That was like the same areas over and over again. The entire game takes place in this massive dungeon. No, I couldn't get into it. Are you going to buy the physical version of Chrono Cross Remaster? I'm gonna wait for a PS4 physical release. Then if it never happens, I'll have to settle down for the Switch version. Seriously? Fragrant Story is real? Man, if I was Square Enix, I will sue them. fragrant story instead. Oh man, I gotta look that up. Fragrant story is real. Fragrant story. Let's see. My computer is kind of slow because of the stream. Holy shit, man. Holy, it's a new tactical RPG by William Cage. And it looks a little bit Matsuno-like. Matsuno style. Oh man. Yeah, it's definitely a lot. I mean, it's like Tactics Ogre. So instead of making a Tactics Ogre clone called Tractics Ogre, they decided to go for Fragrant Story. Alright. So it's obvious, the guys are obviously fans of Vagrant Story. Yeah. Can't believe it exists, man. It's an indie game, so yeah, okay. I'm not surprised. Alright. Sometimes you guys know more than me. Kinda makes me feel embarrassed. I'm supposed to be the RPG encyclopedia out there. Thoughts on Mercenary Saga games. There are 6 of them. I've only played the first 3 games. And they're good, they're decent games. They aren't like, wow, among the best strategy RPGs of all time. Nah, but they're okay. They're fun. A little bit generic, but they're fun, they're good games. Have you ever played Rogue Galaxy? My man, I have played Rogue Galaxy indeed. I beat the game a long time ago. One of the hardest, longest, and most unfair, frustrating final boss battles ever. But I beat the game miraculously, don't ask me how. And I think it's a great game. It just has a lot of balancing problems. Your characters are too weak. They die easily, so you gotta revive them over and over again, and it's kind of annoying. Other than that, it's a great game. Well, I do have one more complaint about Rogue Galaxy. Some of the dungeons are too long, and you get lost pretty often, and that's an RPG nightmare right there. Getting lost in long ass dungeons with random encounters, and the encounter rate in Rogue Galaxy is kinda high. Ooh, man, I rage quit on Rogue Galaxy like several times, but I beat the game. Have you played Record of Lodoss War? You mean the Dreamcast game? It's kinda bad. It's not terrible, but it's like a generic Diablo clone, and it's just kinda meh. Not what we were expecting. We were expecting to play with freaking Diddlit, and she got her own game last year. Was it this year? Like a Metroidvania type of game, right? That's what we wanted to play back then. But the one in the Dreamcast is like, can you do another hidden gem trash video? I'm not sure, man. Most people don't watch them. I don't think that series is ever coming back. It's like the 10 things you didn't know about series. It's like, I know it has a lot of fans, I'm aware of that, but the reality is that most of my viewers don't give a shit about those series, so... Have you played Total Overdose? Is that the Gungrave game? There's a guy called Lars von Trier, 2007. I agree Vagrant Story needs a remake because, I mean, it's probably gonna take place in the same dungeon again, but if they can, man, I will play the remake. I'd like to see how the remake turns out. I don't know how they can fix something that was a problem for me only, maybe. But I'm not sure what to say. But I do hope we get a remake. And maybe this time I'll be able to get into it. Is Phantom Brave any good? Yes, it's good. It isn't bad. But I think other strategy RPGs by NIS America are better. Some Disgaea games, Soul Nomad. Phantom Brave's problem is that you gotta attach your party members to objects and they have a limited amount of turns. After 3 or 4 turns, they disappear and you're fucked. I didn't like that. That kind of killed the game for me. But it's a good game if you know how to handle your party members in Phantom Brave. I think it's a decent game. Maybe eventually you get to a point where you have a shit ton of party members and it's not really a problem, you know. But at the beginning it's kind of a problem. They're talking about an HD2 remaster on Switch of what? Hey, it's one of my first times watching you live. Oh, cool. Welcome, man. Lately, I've gotten interested in Suikoden. You're welcome. I hope you love Suikoden. I hope you play the others and become a fan. Yeah, Chrono Trigger HD 2D. That's like a la Octopath. That will be great. Have you experienced any game-breaking glitches in a JRPG before? Well, there's this game called Monarch. With screen tearing and I don't remember. I probably have, maybe, but 9 out of 10 times was probably because of the emulator or because of my pirated copy, you know, on the disc. I think it was probably because of that. I can think of others. There's the another JRPG, but the first one that comes into mind was the PS3 version of Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah, I know the PS3 version sucks. PS4 or Steam versions are superior, far superior, I think. The PS3 and 360 version of Dragon Age sucks balls. I know that, but I know that because I got stuck in a part. It was a glitch. There was this like hill, and it had some rocks, and there was a space in the middle, and I was like, maybe there's a treasure or something in there. So I got in there, but I couldn't move. I couldn't get out. So my character was like this. And then my party members, which were nearby, started acting up, you know, they started glitching up. And there was nothing I could do, so I had to restart the game. So, wow, that's a glitch. Thank you, Nemo Propaganda. I'm about to play the first Phantasy Star. Oof. Don't play it. You told me on an email you don't like dungeon crawlers in first person. And that's a dungeon crawler in first person, so don't play it. If you don't like those types of games, Phantasy Star, damn, man, you're gonna fucking hate it. It's worth playing at least for a few hours just to see what the game is like, just so you can play one of the most influential JRPGs of all time. But I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you're gonna hate it, man. So those Radical Dreamers suck. Jesus, yes, it sucks without a guide. If you play the game with a guide, it doesn't suck. But without a guide, Radical Dreamers, the text adventure, sucks bananas. Origins is better than Inquisition. I agree, but Origins on the PS3 is just as bad. It's glitchy, it's laggy, severe frame rate issues. It sucks. I still beat it on the PS3, you know. Just like Dragon Age Inquisition, I beat those games on the PS3. The spider issues. What is your favorite JRPG with non-random encounters? Well, there's a lot of them. Chrono Cross. Thanks for asking. Yes, Lapusel Tactics is getting remastered with Rhapsody, a musical adventure. Wow. Will I get that? I'll probably get a review code, but physical, I'm not sure, because, you know, they released the Soul Nomad Phantom Brave one last year and it still hasn't gone down in price, and I doubt it will. Have you played Jade Empire? Just the beginning on the original Xbox. It was cool. I'd like to revisit that game one day. It was cool. It doesn't look like the type of game that I'll really enjoy and love, but I'll definitely go back to Jade Empire one day. There's a Famicom version of Record of Lodoss War. I've never played that one. What are good JRPGs on first Game Boy? The Final Fantasy Legend games. You know, those are the best. The trilogy. the first saga games. Final Fantasy Adventure 1, 2, and 3. No, Final Fantasy Legend 1, 2, and 3. There's Final Fantasy Adventure, which is the first mana game. That one is kind of outdated. I recommend Roland's Curse 1 and 2 on the original Game Boy. I think they're better games. Have you played any of the Prince of Persia games? Yeah, I played The Sands of Time on the GameCube. And whatever Warrior Within on the PS2, couldn't get into them, didn't like them, they bored me. Is there a possibility for a new project, Cross Zone? There's been a possibility for years now, they just haven't said anything. I think because the developers of those games are Monolith Soft, and they're obviously up to their necks with Xenoblade Chronicles, right? There is a possibility, but if it doesn't happen in the next 2 years, this or the next one, I probably won't. We probably won't see it. Yeah, Atelier Iris trilogy, because I think it's owned by Koei Tecmo. It will happen, I think, at some point. Maybe Koei Tecmo will notice what NIS America is doing and say, oh, I have all the Atelier games and I've released several trilogies over the past few years on Switch and PS4, so maybe it's time to release the Iris trilogy on Switch and PS4. Are you a fan of the Deus Ex Signs? Nope. I know the games. I played one on the PS2 and on the PS3, the third one or second one, I don't know. But I can't get into them because they're first person. I don't like to play in first person. Sorry man, don't give a rat's ass about Elden Ring, so no video. Hey Oscar, any out of box RPG that feel fresh? I'm starting to feel burned out by a lot of JRPGs. I don't know what kind of RPGs have you been playing lately. Legend of Mana? What about Legend of Mana? Thanks, man. Rhapsody is getting remastered. Yes. It's probably gonna be the Switch version. I mean, the Nintendo DS version, not the PS1 version. Because I think the PS1 version is owned by Atlus. It was published by Atlus. And then the remake on the Nintendo DS, which changed the battle system to turn-based, is owned by Ys. By NIS, I'm sorry. I was looking at Ys. By NIS America. Yeah. We'll probably get the DS version, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get the PS1 version. Whatever the case, yes, Rhapsody is getting remastered. Did you recommend Valkyria Chronicles 3? Oh, I strongly recommend that game. It's a masterpiece, man. Valkyria Chronicles 3, only in Japan, but it's fully fan translated. Masterpiece. Love that game. Can you swim? Yes. Yeah. Yes, Grandia. You don't know? Grandia 1 and 2 were remastered on the Switch like 2 years ago, I think. Do you think Legend of Legaia needs another series? You mean like a new game? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm a fan of the first game, but I'm not a fan of the second game. So I don't know. Maybe? Is Suikoden Tactics needed to play before Suikoden 4? No, you can start with any. The thing about Suikoden Tactics is that the first mission of Suikoden Tactics is a prequel to Suikoden 4, because you play with the protagonists of Suikoden 4 when they're kids in Suikoden Tactics, but then Suikoden Tactics makes a jump like 10 or 15 years, something like that, and then it takes place after Suikoden 4. I think you should play Suikoden 4 first, in my opinion. What are the best JRPGs with family helping family? Like Velvet wanting to save her brother in Berseria? That's a nice topic. But I don't know. I don't know, man. Do you think you've done all the 3DS content possible? You have I'm about to. Soon you'll get a 3DS video. Pretty soon. DS, I'm kinda done. I think I'm done with Nintendo DS focused videos. I'll probably cover some DS RPGs in future videos, definitely. But when it comes to, the Nintendo DS being the focus of the video, I think I'm done. 3DS, I think I have like a couple of more. Oh, come on. Suikoden 4 is a good game. It's not one of the best Suikoden games, but it's still good. Have you played Shining Wisdom? No, yes! Ooh, is that the one with the, we only play as one guy, and it plays a little bit like Lagoon or Ys? You know, it's an action RPG. It's fucking trash. How is Suikoden Tear Cries? It's great. I think Tear Cries is a great game. Just don't expect it to be as good as most of the main Suikoden games. But yeah, it's a great game. I've asked about video game influences on your books before, but have video games ever inspired their own analysis in writing? What do you mean? Nocturne social alienation has prompted to be a start. What do you? I'm not sure I understand your question. Hey Fritz, Bravely Default 2. Oh, the Bravely Default games are all like that. They have huge difficulty spikes. I mean, the second one is great. The first one I couldn't get into it. Do you understand anything about Final Fantasy 13 story? No, why would I? I don't want to understand. I don't like that game. DS/3DS or PSP for JRPGs? PSP is better than DS for me. But PSP versus 3DS? Ooh, that's a good question, man. Wow. Damn. That's a hard one. I don't think I can choose. Maybe... I don't think I can choose, man. Yeah, Suikoden 4 is a decent game. It gets a lot of shit. No, I'm not a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I don't care about Kingdom Hearts at all. Do you have a video about the order to play the Trail series? Yes, I do. It's called Where to Start in the Trails series. And the chronology is explained in there. Excited with Valkyrie Elysium? Yes, a little bit. I'm interested. But I'm not gonna play it until it's like dirt cheap. Lost Odyssey is the true Final Fantasy 13. Amen! Bro, I couldn't agree more. I never got to that part in Bravely Default. I got to the part where... I don't know, it just felt boring, you know. It's just too... Some things about Bravely Default, the first one, are way too generic. Like, I felt like I was playing Final Fantasy 3. A game having an effect on you that is better sorted out through an essay analysis than a game review. Well, I guess when it comes to making videos, I do sometimes make... I think it's much better when I go unscripted for deep analysis, like what I did a couple of days ago with Chrono Cross. But I don't think a video game has ever influenced me to do that. More like... maybe other YouTubers have influenced me to do that. Or maybe sometimes there's just a lot to say about a game that if I sit down and write a review or an analysis, it just feels kind of robotic for me. So I'd rather, sit down and go unscripted like I did a couple of days ago with Chrono Cross. That was a deep analysis review of the remaster. Are you looking forward to Front Mission remakes? Yes, absolutely. Did you ever play Resonance of Fate? Yes, and I hated the game. Will you play the fan translation of Luminous Arc 3? The one on the Vita? It's fan translated already? I didn't know that. If so, then maybe at some point I will. Excited for the new Star Ocean? Yes, very excited. I'm keeping my expectations not that high because Star Ocean 5 was kinda lame. It wasn't terrible, but it was kinda bad. But let's see what this new Star Ocean has to offer. Yeah, the Gagar trilogy they're okay games. Tear of Vermilion was great. I don't think Tear of Vermilion is generic, I think it's great. But yeah, they aren't the best Trails games. Thank you, Breath of the Wild. Let's see. Do you hold your pee while gaming, or do you prefer to pause and let it go? I hold it all in for ultimate performance. It makes the victory so much more satisfying once I unleash the stream. I don't pee while I'm gaming. I pause the game or just put the controller down and I go to the bathroom and pee. And then I come back. Have you live streamed Hexy's Force? Yes, Miami. Yes, I did. Long time ago. Yeah, Agretsuko. Big fan. Yeah, Hexy's Force, that was like 2 years ago when I streamed it, I think. It's on the list. On the big playlist with all of my Let's Plays, you'll probably find it there. Between Rin and Estelle, which one will you pick as your favorite? Estelle, by far. Haven't you noticed at this point that I'm a huge die-hard fan of Estelle Bright? Estelle is one of my favorite video game characters of all time. Have you heard about Dusk Diver 2? Yes, I haven't played it, and I reached out to the developers. I asked them if they wanted to give me a review code for Dusk Diver 2, and they said, no, we aren't working on Dusk Diver 2, we're not publishing that game, so I'm gonna have to reach out to Idea Factory, apparently. Did you play the hack and slash Legend of Heroes games? You mean... No. What Legend of... You mean the Japanese only games? Probably the Xanadu games, maybe? The original Dragon's Lair games? And so, if so, then no. We need a new Chrono game. Yeah. Maybe if this Chrono Cross remaster succeeds, because it's amazing, and maybe if we get a Chrono Trigger remaster of some kind, we probably will. I have a good feeling we will at some point. Maybe Square Enix will say, oh, there's a lot of interest in the Chrono series and there's still a lot of fans, so here's your new Chrono game, an action RPG a la Final Fantasy VII. Have you played any of the Azure Strike? No, I know those games, but I haven't played a single one of them. Legaia 2 is shit. It is bad. It is kinda bad. Legaia 2, the Dual Saga, it isn't great. What's your opinion on the Ogre Battle Tactics Ogre series? I'm not the biggest fan, but I respect that series a lot. You have no idea how influential that series is for JRPGs in general, especially strategy RPGs. Like, without no Tactics Ogre, no Final Fantasy Tactics. Simple as that. What is your best RPG game with summoning? With summoning, Final Fantasy IX. You can summon the Eidolons, right? The big monsters. Yeah. Well, there's summoning in Chrono Cross 2. I'm cheating maybe, but there's summoning in Chrono Cross. It's legit. So that. You getting the Front Mission remasters? No, I'm not getting them because they are from Square Enix, unless they're $20, like Chrono Cross Remaster. Which Shin Megami Tensei game do you recommend for beginners? Holy shit, man. That's a tough one because Shin Megami Tensei games are brutal, even on easy modes. The ones that have easy mode, they can still be brutal. Try out Devil Survivor on the 3DS. Or Shin Megami Tensei 5 is very hard, even on easy. Damn. It's hard, that's why I've never done this video. This video has been a huge request, where to start in Shin Megami Tensei, but fuck, man. Yeah, play Persona. There you go. Favorite turn-based dark fantasy JRPG? Shadow Hearts. Because, strategy, that will be Eternal Poison. But turn-based, well, strategy, Eternal Poison is turn-based, Yeah, Shadow Hearts, I think. We need a new Golden Sun. Where are you located? I feel like you're in Miami. Well, where I live is just as hot. You know, no, I live in a city called Guadalajara in Mexico. I live in Mexico. I don't live in the US. Have you played Vandal Hearts Flames of Judgment? Yeah, on the PS3. It's okay. It's very generic. And it's like I don't have anything good or bad to say about the game. It's just kinda, it exists. Vandal Hearts Flames of Judgment exists. And that's it. Have you played The Last Bible 2? Nope. Never played any of the Last Bible games. Somebody told me they were strategy RPG, right? Still gives me Asuka vibes from Evangelion. Yeah, they're similar. They get mad, they have this temper, and they're funny. Stealth is way better and way funnier. Exactly, you know, Vandal Hearts Flames of Judgment. The art style is like, it looks very cartoonish and kind of meh. It's like, what kind of air conditioning is used in Mexico? Well, most people use this one attached to the wall, this big device attached to the wall, like a fan, you know, and it just flows from there. We don't have this whole, most Mexicans don't have these whole systems like you guys do in the US or Canada, with a little vent, you know, attached to your walls in different rooms and areas. Most Mexicans don't have that. Would you recommend a French Canadian move to Mexico? No, don't come to Mexico. You're much better in Canada, man, trust me. If you could pick any one JRPG game to get an anime adaptation, what would you pick? You know, it's just most JRPGs that have an anime adaptation, it's just the same story. The same one. I remember watching a couple of episodes from the Persona 4 animation, I think, and I was like, I've already watched this in the game. I'd rather play the game. Give me something different. I don't know. And then Persona got a new anime, unrelated to the games, but it's part of the Persona universe, and that one was pretty good. So maybe a Shin Megami Tensei anime will be badass, but not based on any of the games. Oh yeah, Devil Survivor Overclock doesn't have an anime. The second one has an anime, but the first one doesn't have it. They have those wall ones in Japan too. Oh yeah, it's just better, it's less expensive. It's still kind of expensive. I'm using it right now. My air conditioner is right there. You can't see it, but it's on right now because this is this season. It sucks, but my electricity bill goes up like triple whenever I use it. Do you think the Trail series is worth playing, considering the massive time investment? Yes, it is. Very worth playing. But I understand that you're probably the type of gamer who wants to do all the side quests and get everything. Then you'll put over 100 hours on each game. All combined, my Trails games, I don't think they're probably 200 hours? Between all of them, because some of them, for example, the first Trails of Cold Steel, the first one I beat in 45 hours. Trails in the Sky, the first one I beat in like 30 something hours, but because I don't do a lot of side quests. Which one of your books would you want a game of? Terra Gaiden, absolutely. In fact, I think it's the only one. You know, if you make a game based on the Reaper's Thorn, like, what are you gonna do? I mean, maybe it will be like some kind of action RPG-ish, but no. Nyx Inferno, same. Seven Shadows, I mean, yeah, Terra Gaiden. Terra Gaiden is a strategy RPG. It's heavily influenced by Fire Emblem, so there you go. How many YouTubers RPG in US? What are you trying to ask? How many YouTubers play RPGs in the US? Oh, a shit ton of them. Oh, wait, seriously? I'm watching to the beginning. I just want to say that the Radical Dreamers' flaws were noted even at the release and by the developers themselves. There are interviews stating that they felt like it didn't do the things they wanted it to do. Thank you, Square Enix, for acknowledging that. Because it's true. You fucked it up. You fucked up. You ruined Radical Dreamers. You have to play the game with a guide. Thank you. Wow. You know, man, my respect for Square Enix was like here. Now it's like here. Thank you, Square Enix. And I'm not kidding. I mean, it's funny, but I'm not kidding, you know. Thank you for acknowledging that mistake. Because, yes, they fucked up the game. They fucked it up, man. How unfair. Do you want me to rant about the game again? Let's just continue with your questions. Who was your favorite, who was your author influence for writing? Oh, I have a lot, man. Anne Rice. Anne Rice, rest in peace. Rest in peace, goddammit. She was old. She was a big influence. Cameron Langford, rest in peace as well. Canadian author, you know, was a huge influence as well. Maybe I could quote Lovecraft or not Poe. I'm not really a Poe fan, you know. I like some of his stories, Edgar Allan Poe, but I'm not the biggest Poe fan. Lovecraft was definitely an influence. Horacio Quiroga, yeah, definitely an influence too. I think I'll just play my PS1 copy of Chrono Cross. Why? The remaster is amazing, man. I think there's a lot of confusion here. Like, people think that I'm ranting about the remaster. No, I'm ranting about the text adventure game that was included in the remaster. But the Chrono Cross remaster is phenomenal. Phenomenal, man. It's just Radical Dreamers, the text adventure game. It's 2 hours. How long is the Radical Dreamers part of the game? It's like 2 hours, roughly 2 hours, but play it with a guide, with a walkthrough. Do yourself a favor and play with a guide. I really like Chuck Palahniuk as an author. I've never read a single book of that guy. You know, I know he. Well, I read the original Fight Club on a website, and it's kind of all over the place. But he did that on purpose, right? To piss off the editor. And the editor all of a sudden was like, okay, I'll publish your book. And it became a huge thing. It became a movie. Yeah. Jeez, man. Let me just put it. Oh, it's there in the description. Can't you guys read the description? In the description of this stream, I said the CC remaster was awesome, but the text adventure Radical Dreamers was not. What's there to clarify? like the meme says, can't you not fucking read? Have you community RPG only in YouTube? Do I have a community RPG? I do have a Discord, but you gotta be a Patreon to do that. Patreon, the link is in the description of this video. You pay $3 a month, you get access to the polls, and then you get access to my community. What RPG are you going to focus on now? I haven't decided. Do you get burned out playing RPGs these days since a lot of them seem so similar and not as grandiose? I disagree with that statement, I'm sorry. You sound like a guy who thinks the Super Nintendo and PlayStation 1 era are the golden age. I disagree with that. You know, I grew up with that in that era, and I love Super Nintendo and especially PS1 RPGs, but I think the golden era is right now, and some of them do seem repetitive, like we've seen this before or played this before. You know, but there's a lot of games out there with really cool original ideas that are modern. So, no, I don't get burned out. Imagine reading? I don't want to pay Square Enix any more money. Oh, okay. Well, come on, man. The remaster was awesome. But I'm not gonna say pay money to Square Enix. I don't like the company, so. Will Chrono Cross game will jump in price when the physical release? Do you mean the original PS1 version or the remaster? The remaster will probably go up in price because it's only by PlayAsia, the Chinese version with English subtitles. So that version will probably go up in price. The original PS1, I don't think so. It might, though, but it also has a greatest hits version. It might go up in price a little bit because remember when the Final Fantasy VII Remake came out? I remember when that happened 2 years ago, the physical version of Final Fantasy VII on the PS1 went up in price, but just a little bit. No, you're not wrong. Horses Attack. That's a clever name. Horses Attack. No, you're not wrong. You just have a different opinion. You like more the golden age era of RPGs. I love it too, but I think there's a lot of great games with great ideas and great stories and great RPGs nowadays, you know. Like I said, you know, I agree with the part that some of them do feel like they're out, like I've seen this before, I've played it before. This is just like, I don't know, generic, you know. There's a lot of RPGs like that nowadays, but there's also a lot that are not, that you play them and they blow you away. They're like, man, this is different. We need dark, mature JRPGs nowadays. We need more of them. I completely agree with that. Did you see all the Kingdom Hearts? Oh, that's a question for you guys in the chat. What JRPG franchise deserves a remake? A remake or a reboot? Are you're asking the developers to remake the whole franchise? Maybe we need remakes of the very first 2 Shin Megami Tensei games. That will be badass, man. Remake with today's graphics. I don't care if the Persona 5 graphics or the Shin Megami Tensei 5 graphics aren't that wow, but Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2, with those graphics, with that style of gameplay, ooh, man. Please. The physical remaster is already $40 on PlayAsia, I believe. It's supposed to have English language support. I got the 20 for... Yeah, me too. I got the $20 version. The English version is 40 plus shipping, so it's... For me, in Mexico, it's like $60, and no... any collapse on the horizon? Maybe, I don't think so. No. I'm still kinda like... blacklisted for some YouTubers, apparently. And the others that I'm cool with, you know, they just haven't reached out. I mean, it needs to come from them, I think. How many concurrent RPGs are too many before it becomes... Well, that's an interesting question. How many concurrent RPGs are too many before it becomes difficult to keep track of control schemes and stories? For me, 4 or 5 maybe. I'm the kind of guy who always plays 1 at a time, 2 max, and that's it. I've always done that. Sometimes 3, but it's very rare. If I'm playing 3 or more, it's because of the channel, because I'm planning a video for this channel. But yeah, for my own free time, personal time, no more than 1. Do you know if there will be a remake of Rudra? I hope so. We're getting a remake of Live Alive. Why not Treasure of Rudras, right? I hope so. I hope we get one. Did you enjoy playing more as Surge, or do you prefer playing as Lynx? I think I like Lynx a little bit more because he has these dark attacks and feral cats and Forever Zero. I think I prefer Lynx, but yeah, I like both. What's your problem with Fallout games? They're very overwhelming for me. That I know you can play them in third person. Most of them, I thought it was only first person, but I just found them. I don't like open world games. They're too overwhelming for me. Like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, man, I just want to continue a story. My life itself is an open world already. I don't need my games to be open world. I prefer more linear games, and I don't know, I haven't played Fallout 4, I only played New Vegas and Fallout 3, and I also played this terrible game called Fallout, on the PS2. I think it's the very first Fallout, and it just sucks balls, man. I forgot the name. Which game had the best plot twist for you? Xenogears? probably Xenogears, or I really like the plot twist in Baten Kaitos, the first one. That was amazing. What are my expectations for the new Adult Christian game? I prefer a new Ys game, but if Ys 5 ever gets a remake, I will welcome it. Because Ys 5, both versions are pretty bad. They aren't terrible games, but they're pretty bad. Hey Oscar, do you think Square Enix might target Chrono Trigger next? Definitely. Despite the issues with Chrono Cross, it sold well. Definitely, yeah. I think Chrono Trigger is next. Definitely, maybe. But it kind of makes me believe that Square Enix is like, I don't know what to do with Chrono Trigger right now. Remake, remaster, HD, 2D, whatever. They'll have to decide at some point. But I think, we're gonna get something Trigger maybe next year. Sorry if I'm missing your questions, guys. Which of your books can I buy in Spanish? You can go to Mercado Libre and you can buy all of them. Most of them are there, the ones in Spanish. Or you can get to Amazon and buy Código Morgana on PDF. Well, as an ebook, not physical. But if you want them physical in Mexico, Mercado Libre. Somebody already asked about plot twists. What JRPG series need to come back a lot? Girl answer. Ys X, Ys 10 seems a bit too early to be announced. Has it already been announced? Or is it just rumors? Has any gaming studio reached out to you to hire you? No, only really, really, really small guys like, hey, I'm one guy and I'm making my own RPG. That's happened before, but studios? No. Well, it was a long time ago here in Mexico, where I live, with one of my friends. He invited me to a project. The project was going to be like an Odin Sphere inspired game with Dark Souls influence and Dark Souls elements. So the game is going to be a 2D Souls game. And because me and my friend, we weren't into Souls at all, the project didn't work. And this was their first RPG they were going to do. This was a long time ago, like 5 years ago, I think. 6 years ago. It was probably 6 years ago. And it just didn't work. But after I got my breakthrough here on YouTube, I haven't been invited by a studio or hired, I vote an HD 2D will make the most sense for Trigger. I agree too. My life is an open world. Any thoughts on the next Nier game? Nothing's been said about the next Nier game. There was one released last year for mobile phones, and I don't care about mobile, so I didn't play it. The next Nier game is probably gonna be in like 2 or 3 years. I hope it's just as good, as the other two. Konami Suikoden survive. Ys 10 is early, but we will never know. I don't know anything about Ys 10. I'll look it up after the stream is over. I don't think it's been announced. Do you like the graphics in Ys Monster Nox or prefer the older style character designs? I think the graphics were better in Ys 8. That was the epitome of the Ys graphics. And on Ys 9 they look a little bit more dark to fit the game's theme, of course, and I really love that. But the graphics on Ys 8 were more colorful, so they're better for most people. What JRPG made you a JRPG fan? Chrono Cross. Drakengard 3 needs to be remastered. The frame rate sucks. I agree. I agree. A remaster will man, I do want a Drakengard 3 remaster. Hell, I want the entire trilogy remastered. But they need to work on the controls of Drakengard 1, because they're kind of bad. For me, at least. Does Konami hate money? No. They're making a lot of fucking money out of pachinko machines and out of gyms they have in Japan. They have gyms in Japan. I don't think they hate money. More like they love money and that's all they care about. Which gaming company do you hate the most? Konami! Who doesn't hate Konami nowadays? Konami! Everybody hates them. A lot of people hate EA Sports, EA, but I don't give a fuck about that company. I give a fuck about Konami, so I fucking hate Konami. What RPG are you going to focus about? Didn't you ask this before? I told you I don't know. I know you're not into Zelda, but which game is the best for you? A Link to the Past is the one that I like. The only one that I like. Zelda 2, I liked it too. Zelda 2, but man, the last 2 times I attempted playing the game, it didn't go well. Have you seen the Final Fantasy 16 trailer? Yes, I have. Are you optimistic about it? Not really, because it's an action RPG, and what I'm looking, it doesn't feel like Final Fantasy, but whatever. How do more people not love Chrono Cross? Because they love Chrono Trigger, and they hate Cross. Have you looked? Every Q&A, there's gotta be one guy asking about Sea of Stars. Yeah, I watched it and I'm interested. Shining Tears PS2 is trash. Oh, come on, man. Nah, it isn't. I disagree. I don't think it's a masterpiece or a wonderful game, but it's a good game. It's a decent game for me. You don't like Ocarina of Time? No, not really. No. I don't hate it or have nothing against it, I just don't care for it. Thanks to your videos, I bought all Trails of Cold Steel games. Woo! I don't like Kemco. Who does? Kemco is fine, it's just, I don't know, like fast food for RPGs. With fast food can be pretty good. So, Kemco is just there, just kind of there. It's a poor man's choice for RPGs. The new Valkyrie game is also action. Yeah, I know, right? Have you played Lufria, Rise of the Sinistrals? Ooh, man, I love that game. Amazing game. That's a much better game than the original Lufia. Any interest in Super Robot Wars games? Yes, I'm a fan. I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm a fan of Super Robot Wars. I love the Game Boy Advance game. The first one, the second one, didn't play it. The one on the DS, Endless Frontier. I love the game. And I love Relayer, which is a love letter to Super Robot Wars. Thank you! This guy right here. I don't understand why so many people think loving Trigger means they should hate Cross. I don't understand that either, man. I know the feel, bro. It probably because a lot of people are easy to influence and easy to manipulate, and if they see a lot of influencers or a lot of their friends, which are original fans of Chrono Trigger, they feel like they should hate the game as well. I'm not sure why. I mean, I know people who legitimately played Cross and didn't like it. No influence in there. They said, I'm gonna play the game and have my own opinion. So they played the game and they disliked it, and that's respectable. They are hating on Cross or Trigger or any other game just because the majority is doing that. I think that's fucking stupid. Have you played Shining the Holy Ark? Somebody asked that earlier today. I have. It looks beautiful. One of the most prettiest looking RPGs on the Sega Saturn, Shining the Holy Ark. But it's a dungeon crawler in first person. I'm not really into those. And I can't play it anyway because I don't have the game. It's crazy expensive. It's the Saturn we're talking about here. And I can't make a Sega Saturn emulator work on my computer. Why hasn't anyone talked about RPGs? They revolve around fast food. Is there an RPG revolving around that? It's gotta be. You have no idea the crazy shit that exists in Japan. There's RPGs out of everything. There's gotta be one RPG in Japan that focuses about fast food. How are we gonna start the trigger versus cross discussion here? I'm out. I'm leaving. Well, I'm about to leave anyway, you know, it's been 2 hours, over 2 hours. $3DS games are getting expensive. Tier list is probably not gonna happen this year, but I have a much better idea for a video on the 3DS coming up really soon. There is a beat 'em up about the UFO. What, seriously? Instant food? Well, there's games about everything. Japan makes games out of things that you can't even imagine. When you play the game, you're like, how does this exist? Who came up with this? A beat 'em up about the UFO instant food. UFO. What, Burger Time? Is it called Burger Time? That's not a beat 'em up. If you know food and JRPGs, I'm the same way, you know, if I see everybody hating on a game or loving it, I don't give a shit. You know, I'm gonna play the game, and if I like it, good, and if I don't, good. I don't like it, and that's it. Your view counts on a YouTube video? It probably does, man. If you're the type of person who just, you know, updates, refreshes your page, and watches the same video over and over again, I'm not sure if it counts on the views on YouTube, but I think YouTube realizes that you're doing that, and it stops counting. I'm not sure. If only we knew how the algorithm works, how it really works on YouTube, everybody will exploit that. Everybody will exploit the shit out of that. So that's why we don't know. That's why they keep changing things, and sometimes the algorithm makes no sense. Often it doesn't make any sense. It's to prevent people from figuring out the algorithm. Hey, that's smart. If I was YouTube, I would do the same. I wouldn't let people figure out my algorithm, because if they did, they will exploit it, and everybody will be rich. Some people can enjoy something new. Chrono Cross is a great game for itself, no need to compare it to anything. Bravo! Exactly. The best way to play Chrono Cross is without comparing it to Trigger. That's the best way. I was thinking of getting Resonance of Fate. Would you suggest it? No, Catherine. I don't recommend Resonance of Fate. I don't. Unless you see it for like really, really cheap, so you can play it and have an opinion on your own. Maybe you'll like the game, but I can't personally recommend a game that I don't like. I don't like Resonance of Fate at all. But maybe, you know, see if you see it for dirt cheap, you know, give it a chance and. Go to hell, Terry. You're practically saying I'm not very patient. I'm not very patient. That's true. Damn it. The Radical Dreamers port seems BS. The Chrono Cross remaster is phenomenal, but the text adventure game, the Radical Dreamers, you know, the little visual novel game, it's terrible. It is bullshit. It is. That was why that was my rant of today. Oh, okay. Well, that's it for today, guys. That's it for today. I gotta go. Thanks for watching, everybody. You know, it was awesome as usual. These Q&A streams are awesome. Love doing them. See you in 15 days for the new Q&A. The next Sunday is gonna be a topic, a discussion, like a review topic. I've been doing those and I've been having a blast. So, yeah. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.